Hello, my favorite YouTube people. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Nick. How you doing?
I'm great, Lindsay. How are you?
I'm doing pretty awesome, mostly because we just recorded the most fun podcast ever.
That's true. That is true. It is the best podcast episode ever made by humans.
Ever on the
You'll know it when you hear it. Yeah, you'll know it when you hear it. It'll become very obvious, actually.
So friends, Nick and I obviously just recorded a podcast, and you know that I love dragging the speakers from my podcast over here to YouTube to dive a little bit deeper into something that they brought up. And there's a concept that Nick brought up that I'm going to share in just a moment, because first I want you, Nick, to tell everybody who you are and what it is that you do.
Thank you, Lindsay. I appreciate that. My name's Nick McGraw. I'm the guy behind McGraw Design. I'm a brand designer, and I help entrepreneurs and small to medium-sized businesses build out their branding as they're trying to build out their businesses and their brand image online. So what that looks like is that I help people build out their logos, their branding, their colors, their website, their content, any of the things, the digital things that you're going to need to help essentially reach out to your customers and sell more and get involved in the lives of your customers.
Obviously, I've got Nick's info down at the bottom, so you can go check out his branding because it is pretty badass.
Oh, well, I appreciate that, Lindsay. And what I try to do is I just try to make everybody else look badass too. You're pretty badass yourself, actually. I don't really need to help you that much.
Well, and funny you should mention that, because Nick is doing some of my social media assets for me right now. I came to Nick and I was like, so hypothetically speaking, if I give you control of my brand, what would you do with it?
I remember that. That was so funny. Like, the text I got was, okay, hypothetically, in a perfect world, if I were to just let you do whatever you want, what would you do? And I'm just spitting ideas. I'm like, wow, okay, well, I would Picasso the hell out of your brand. I'll make all these great things happen because I know that's what you're all about, the audience you're trying to reach. I love it. I love it all. Let's go for it. Beautiful. Let's go. I'm going to Andy Warhol the hell out of your business. We're not quite doing that, but we're doing something fun. We're actually doing something really cool, actually. I really like what we're doing.
Well, and I dig Andy Warhol, but also, I mean, you just got to look above at my YouTube banner and you're going to see Nick's handiwork. So
that's true. That's right. I keep forgetting this is going to come out eventually in the future, and everything will be done up.
We're speaking to you from the past.
Hello, future Nick and future Lindsay. It's nice to meet you both again. I am talking to you. That's exactly what I'm doing.
Okay, also, in case you couldn't tell, we're also very, very nerdy.
Listen, I'm very comfortable with myself. Do not let the Star Wars things on the background freak you out. Don't worry. It's not like I have Star Wars and lightsaber sheets on my bed right now. It's none of your business what I sleep in. So don't worry about it. Don't worry. Everything's
Speaking
good.
Of which, I did drop a Star Wars reference in the podcast, but you didn't pick it up.
When was what Star Wars reference?
I said that there's always a bigger fish.
Oh yeah, Qui-Gon Jinn. Yeah, I know that one.
Okay, because I'm like, he doesn't believe that.
That's not just Star Wars. That's like a regular human expression that you can't. Okay, that was very clandestine. That was very sneakily put in there. Yeah, I know. It's Liam Neeson. Yeah, when they're in the. Yeah, I know all of that. Wow, you're such a nerd.
So let's talk about what I want to talk about as well, because we could talk about this all day.
Oh, you don't want to just nerd out about film?
If you don't have an entrepreneur friend who also loves the same nerdy things that you do, find one stat.
You're in the wrong room. Get in the right rooms, people.
But let's talk about this topic you brought up on the podcast, which we touched on, but I want to dive into a little bit more here, especially how folks can apply it in their own lives. And that is the idea of not building your business and waiting for retirement to have a life, but building a business that includes mini retirements right now.
So this is a concept that is new to me, that is fresh in my life, and so it's top of mind for me. I just got into Tim Ferriss and the work he's doing, and I know I'm probably late to the Tim Ferriss show, but that's okay, because you know what, everything happens for a reason, and things come into your life at the time that they are meant to come into your life. And I probably wasn't ready for his lessons a year ago, but I am now, right? So there's a very good reason why I'm reading these things now. And the concept he talks about these mini retirements is exactly what you just said. There's no point waiting till you're 55. 60, 65 to say, oh, I'm done all the work I need to do. I'll go live a life now. Because if you haven't been living a life up until that point, you're not going to now. You're just going to sit at home and watch Netflix, like you've been doing. So these ideas of mini retirements is while you're young and while you're able, and while you're working, pick up shop and move it somewhere, right? You don't have to take your whole life with you. You don't have to pack every little thing up. But you can, if you're an entrepreneur who likes to live that digital nomad life, and you can just work behind a MacBook or a laptop, if that's kind of like your sanctum, you can pick up and move. So it could be as easy as booking an apartment for 3 months in Paris, right? Maybe during the off season, so it's not super expensive for you. You can rent an apartment in Paris, really high end stuff for not a lot of money, really. I'm actually looking at doing Buenos Aires for a month come November. Right, this is a real goal that I have, and so I put it on the calendar. I said, this is what I want to do. We're flying out, whatever it is, November 1st, and I want to be there for a month, basically. And I want to be there for a month, working, but also living, absorbing the culture, eating the food, 4 or 5 hour work days, and then maybe we go down to the beach. Maybe we go live the Buenos Aires nightlife. I'm going to take some Spanish classes. I'm going to absorb into the culture. This is what I want to do, and then we'll be home by Christmas, kind of thing. And these little mini retirements. These little things peppered throughout the year, you should be able, or at least willing, to do 2 or 3 or maybe 4 of these a year. You want to come home, do a couple of work projects for 2 or 3 months, and then go off somewhere. And it doesn't mean check out entirely, unplug, don't talk to me, I'll be back in a month. You can still work while you're in another culture. You can work while you're in Sicily. You can work while you're in Australia. You can work while you're in, maybe Bali or something
Portugal.
like that. Portugal. Lindsay has Portugal on her radar, of course. Yeah. Right? It's not check out entirely, right? It means, you're living kind of just a new life. You're transitioning into different things, passion projects. So this idea of mini retirements where 3 or 4 times a year, you book a place somewhere else, or maybe you can just stay, but you work less a little bit and you do the things that matter to you, the passion projects and the hobbies that you've let slide and decay. Now you're finding you can breathe new life into them. These little mini retirements throughout the year are how you're going to be able to sustain sanity. It's how you're going to be able to keep living, right? You can't just live when you get to the end of your life.
I grew up in the restaurant business all through my well, really from a young age, but especially working in the restaurant business from my teens and early 20s. And every single long weekend, I knew where I was in the restaurant. Every single holiday, I was in the restaurant. And here I am now in my 30s, my 40s, and long weekends come, I don't know what to do with myself. And that, I was permanently scarred from this always working on long weekends. So it even happens now. We already are developing the habits now with how we work and how we play, how we have a life and how we work. Again, we're developing those habits. But I want to touch on, because, Nick, you have been going flat out working your buns off in your business for the last 2 years. And so you're at this point now where you're able to do that. But what about folks that are just getting started, where not disappearing, but, traveling around, that may not be a reality yet, but how can they already start to incorporate this mindset and this mini retirements now, even at a smaller scale?
That's a great question. I think there's probably a few ways to do that. If you want to do it, the A to B version, the way Tim explains it is pick a place that you want to be a part of, a culture you want to absorb, so that's distant enough that you can put it as a marker on the calendar, that you can say, that's the goal, there it is. And then you reverse engineer it. So if you calculate and you do your research and you figure out that trip is going to be costing you somewhere, let's just use really, really easy numbers. That trip's going to cost me $1,500, right? I know what I have to be saving every single month to put towards that. And then you break that down further. What do I need every week? What do I need every day? Oh, I only need like $15 a day to get to that trip. Oh, okay, that's easy then. And so once you reverse engineer, the big number doesn't seem so intimidating anymore. Yes. It's like anything in life. It's like, well, if I want to buy that big thing or I want to do that thing, what do I need? Well, that's a year away from now. What do I need to get? Oh, this is easy. It's like investing in yourself or doing any type of investing at all. So knowing that that's the goal, and putting it as a clear marker for yourself, as a clear indicator, this is what I want to do. To reverse engineer, it doesn't seem so scary, because then it gives you these small bite-sized steps, right? You're shortening the steps of the ladder. They're not these big, huge steps. You're shortening the steps to get up to it. So that helps a great deal. Obviously, there's going to be people who think, well, I can never do that, right? Like, I've got the kids and I've got the dogs, and I've got that. I'm telling you, there are people, single parents, who do this type of stuff all the time, and they take their kids and they were worried that I'm going to lose them or something's going to happen to them. There's a beautiful story of this single mom who was terrified for 2 years to sail the Caribbean with her 8 and 10-year-old, right, who have never even seen a sailboat, let alone know how to do nautical things and tie knots and stuff.
Mhm.
In the airport, they were wrestling and fighting and screwing around. As soon as they stepped on that boat, things got real for them. And they no longer wrestled or fought with each other, or argued. They learned patience. This is out of the words of the mom. She's like, I don't know where they learned these skills from, but when you have close, cramped quarters on a boat, you're always in each other's spaces. It just becomes a reality. I need to learn patience. I need to learn, gratitude. I need to be able to help people. And they got along. And for 6 months, they sailed the Caribbean and they made stop after stop, island after island. And it was great. And these kids learned a ton of new skills. They were so miserable to go back to land. They wanted to stay on the ocean forever, right? And now she's planning a new trip. There's always something to do and a new culture to experience. And life's too short to just not go do it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You could be horseback riding in Australia, or you could be mountain climbing in Chile. You could be doing something, right?
Can I touch on that for just a second? Because, even in my question inherently, after I asked my question, I thought maybe that's just a mindset shift that I need to have. Maybe you can do it. But I know that for some people, they have to plan a bit more. They can't just go and do it. And I liked your point about, okay, well, then make a plan, figure it out, make
Yeah.
a plan.
That's
And
what
then
I'm
the
doing.
next point was then just go do it, and don't hide behind your excuses. And I think that's sort of that mindset shift, is that we will always have an excuse for why we can't. But if we just take those away and just do it, what are your thoughts on that?
Again, it's a Tim Ferrissism, like a Timism. You can
Yeah.
live like a millionaire without having $1 million.
Yeah.
Because when you're going to do all these things and you've come back from your 4th trip of the year and it's only August,
Yeah.
people are going to be like, how the hell are you doing this? What's your secret? And then you become super interesting. And you're like, I just work to live. I work to rule. I work as much as I have to go
Yeah.
do these things. Right. And it's the new rich, man. It's the new economic freedom. Right.
Yeah.
Living in a 16-bedroom house and having 3 cars in the garage, you can only drive one at a time. You know that, right? You can't drive all 3, right? So it doesn't really matter that it's Porsche, Ferrari, and Lambo.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter if you get stuck in traffic in a Lamborghini, you're still stuck on the 401. Like it is, you're not cool. So like the sign of the new rich, the new free, the new economically, released, the new economically empowered, like you and I are, Lindsay, we're going to do all these things.
Yeah.
Right? We built a business so we can go do these things.
Yeah.
And then when I'm done doing these things, come back to the business. I know how to make money. It's just money. I know how to make more of it. I know how to talk to more clients and generate new business. I can do it. And if I have to postpone a trip, if I have to work 4 or 5 months versus 3 or 4, if my trip becomes, or if my life becomes skewed that year, that's fine. Right? The pandemic threw everybody off. Right? For people like us, digital entrepreneurs like us, I had to turn work away in the pandemic. Like I put down some really fundamental building blocks during 2020. 2021 has been explosive, right? I don't know what to do with all this work I have. I'm not bragging. I'm just like, people need it. And I'm lucky and I'm blessed enough and I'm privileged enough. And I realize that I get to do this type of work.
Yeah. 100%. And I think about how, like, even during this past year and a bit here, it's like, when it was safe to travel, I would sneak away here, sneak away there, like even if it's a night or a couple of nights, or years have passed when I was bootstrapping and didn't have anywhere near the budget or even the infrastructure in my business to be able to take off to another country, right? Because I still have to pay for my bills here and then my bills there, right? And I would just do things like I would go away for an extra long weekend just to a hotel by myself, or I would take off to Whistler for a week, or there's so many things that you can do. It doesn't always have to be the big stuff. If you're just a new entrepreneur and you're not there yet, maybe financially or infrastructure wise, you don't have your online business fully automated and ready to go. It's still a lot of all hands on deck. It's like, there's things that you can do to start getting into this mindset now. A part of it is living for now. I like that work to live. Like I'm working, like you say, if I need to make some money, I ramp up my sales, my business development for that month, get a bunch of sales, and then where can I go apply that money? But then again, making that plan of, okay, so for next year, where do I want to be and what do I need? How am I ramping up my sales to put money away for that? Right.
And reverse engineering that, having
Exactly.
the goal, sticking to it, and reverse engineering it, because then it becomes real. Once you've bought like the plane ticket, or once you purchased the room or whatever on the other side of the world, you're like, oh, I'm committed to it now. Like if you really need like shock therapy, then don't buy cancellation insurance so that you need to go do it.
Oh,
Right?
the
Like
commitment
I don't want
me is getting sweaty on that one.
right. I don't want another pandemic to hit and the airline doesn't give me their money back, but like I definitely want you to go do it.
Yeah.
And it's something that I'm going to go do. So in a couple months when we revisit this, Lindsay, and I'm calling you from Buenos Aires.
Well, I'm in Portugal.
Well, you're in Portugal. Oh yeah, I don't care about a different time zone. Like we can make.
Yeah, that's going to be an intense times. Okay, maybe we'll wait till we're back in the country. we can.
You'll learn Portuguese, I'll learn Spanish, and we'll meet somewhere in the middle because we know we'll be able to still understand each other a little bit.
Yeah, more or less. I love it. I love it. Okay, so friends, you're definitely going to want to go check out the podcast because Nick and I get into it. We talk about this. We get into things like burnout and saying no and boundaries, but also, you know, nerdy stuff and what it means to be your own boss and have your own business. So you're definitely going to want to check the podcast out because it's awesome. But in the meantime, Nick, like, you know, how do people find you? What's up? What's up over there?
Yeah, I mean, I would love for people to get in touch with me. My website is McGrawsome.com. When you go to it, you'll see it's all branded and it's nice and it's designed up because I'm a brand designer, so I have to kind of live that part, right?
Yeah.
But also I have a free treat for people, which is great for entrepreneurs. It's my free social media checklist, which is basically going to show you, you know, that you're using social media to build out your business. You have your Facebook page, you have your LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, maybe you even have a YouTube channel. But you know that you want to brand them all up properly. You know that they should all be cohesive. So this is for you. It's going to show you everything from like what are the key components of having a wicked banner, simple little tactics for making a good profile pic, bio optimization, making your first pieces of content look really slick. These are all things that are going to help you stand out a lot better throughout your social media. So it's your free social media checklist. You can find it at McGrawsome.com. It's the first link. Go for it. It's free. It's yours. And I know it'll help you.
For those that are just getting started, because I know a lot of our viewers are new entrepreneurs, Nick has a really great social media package as well, the Social Booster package.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, where you basically you're just he does it for me. He'll do it for you, which is just get your social templates ready so that you're not, you know, always thinking about what should I do here and what should this template look like there, and you're constantly reinventing the wheel. He just gives you the templates and make sure that your brand is expressed across all social channels just so beautifully.
My Social Booster bundles is exactly what Lindsay just said. I'll help you create a package if you need a couple of banners for LinkedIn and Facebook profiles, maybe YouTube, maybe you want some YouTube thumbnails, maybe you want a cool email signature, maybe you want a first couple of pieces of content to put up on Instagram. There's ways to make your social media sing, and I can help you create a custom little package that's very entry level. This way you don't feel like you're spending thousands and thousands on like upscale branding. You know that's not what you need right now. You just need your social channels to look a little bit more posh, but you want a professional's touch because you know you can't do it. That's where my Social Booster bundles come in.
I love it. Nick, thank you so much for hanging out with me yet again. First the podcast, now the YouTube. I love it.
Lindsay, I mean, we're going to do this again for sure. I don't know when, but we're going to do it. But I mean, I'm excited for what you're doing here. I'm excited for this channel. I'm excited for Work Less, Play More. I think it's going to be huge. I think what you're doing is important. People need to hear it. And the why you're doing this really matters too. So thank you for having me once again. I'm so glad that you brought me on. It's been a pleasure.
Amazing. Thank you so much for being one of my favorite guests. It was amazing. Friends, all right, you're going to want to click below. I'm going to give you all the links there. We've got Nick's McGraw Some Sauce podcast on there. We've got his freebie, his website, his Instagram, obviously our podcast episode. And if you're looking for a entrepreneurial community to come join, I'm also going to put my Facebook group on there for you to come hang out with us there. And until next time, friends, happy connecting. We will see you online. Bye, Nick.
Bye, Lindsay.